Remember when we learned that our two interior angles, the angles that are far away, equal that one exterior angle. So when we're looking at this, if we're solving for x, we know that a plus b is going to equal c. Those two angles that are further away will always equal the angle that's on the outside. So in this case, I am subtracting 50 from 120, and I get 70, and I can check myself because 50 plus 70 is 120. Those two equal, and so we know it works out. Another thing to remember that I put in the box is all triangles equal 180 degrees. So let's say you didn't remember that. You could use the information you have and know that C is forming a straight line, right? So we know straight lines are 180 degrees. So that angle has to be 60, right? The angle inside the triangle, because 60 plus 120 is 180. Then you could just do 180 minus 60 minus 50 to get 70. So there are two different ways to figure this out, as long as you remember those two rules. Parallel lines cut by a transversal. Remember, if I give you 1 point, you should know all the other points. So if I give you the angle 1 is 130 degrees, you should be able to figure out every single other angle, because every single one will be either 130 or 50. I put which ones were corresponding, alternate, and supplementary. And this is not an exhaustive list, so remember 1 and 5 are corresponding angles, but 2 and 6 would also be corresponding angles. So I just gave you one example for your notes here. Scatter plots. Remember with scatter plots, positive goes up, negative goes down, and then no correlation kind of looks like snow. It's all over the place. When we're thinking of line of best fit, finding the line of best fit is always better when it's in the middle of the data. You want the same number of points, or roughly the same number of points, to be on the top and the bottom. So in these, you see that my line of best fit goes directly through the data, and that's how you, when you're looking at the problems on the EOG, that's what you want to see for a line of best fit, the line going directly through the data. Sorry. Screen popped up. Okay, we're getting to the end, thank goodness. Two-way table. So we did really well on two-way tables. I wanted to just give you two examples here. So when we're finding relative frequency, remember that's always thinking about percent. And so for this one, the relative frequency of men that drive sports cars, well, 21 men drive SUVs and 39 men drive sports cars, and the total number of men we're talking about are 60. So if I'm looking for men that drove sports cars, that'll be 39 over 60. I divide, and then I multiply 100 to get 65%. Then the second question, based on this table, who prefers SUVs? Well, if I'm looking at women who prefer SUVs, there are 135 women out of the 180 women surveyed, so that's 75%. So women obviously love SUVs. And then there are 21 out of the 60 men surveyed, so 35% liked SUVs for males, and so women prefer SUVs over men. And I've already talked about that. That's probably why I had two of them up there. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Pregnancy brain. You already have this one. Okay, so I think that was everything. Lord, I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, please forgive me. I'm doing the best I can. So our question is, now what? We have our one-pager. What do we do now? Well, here are some next steps. You can clear out all of your old math papers. If you're the type of person who feels like you want to save everything, you want to use it now, you want to keep it for high school, by all means do that. If you're the type of person where it's too much clutter, you don't quite know what to do with all of it, throw it all away. The only thing you need to be successful to study for the EOG is what we just created. We created something that's just one page of all the important information. So this is technically all you need for the rest of the school year in math. You want to spend at least 5 to 10 minutes every day reviewing your one pager, because there was no point in making it if you're not going to review it. So maybe on Monday you can look at the first page, and then on Tuesday back side, and then Wednesday back to the front side. But review it every single day, even during track out. Our track out, unfortunately, is right before our EOG. So when we come back, we only have about 6 days before we get started on EOGs. So it's a good idea to keep those skills fresh, especially since we're going to be out for 4 weeks. Know that we are not done learning, right? You still have your biggest test coming up. And just because this test is not a grade doesn't mean it's not going to affect your life. It might affect your life more than any other grade you've received in math. So with that being said, you can take 5 to 10 minutes every day just to review it. Especially if there's one that you're really struggling with. Like, let's say square roots and cube roots. You're like, I just can't memorize those. Study it. Spend some time studying it during track out. Look at it. I'm not asking for a lot. 5 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds. Just study it. Then you can also have someone quiz you. So you can ask someone, hey, quiz me on the formulas for volume, or quiz me on similar figures, or quadrants. I'll tell you what quadrant everything is in, or hey, what's the Pythagorean theorem? So have someone kind of quiz you to make sure you're actually committing these things to memory. Then bring it to school every day before EOGs. So when we come back from track out, we are going to be watching videos to review, and we're going to be doing practice assessments online. So there'll be Google Forms to let you practice maybe 5 questions, 10 questions to give you feedback on how you're doing for every single unit, every single standard. It would be a great idea to bring this with you to class, so that way it gives you some more time to actually look at it, and it can help you when we're preparing for our EOGs. Use it to help you complete the online unit reviews. That's what I just said. And then you can take it with you to Math 1. These are the things that your teacher expects you to come to Math 1 knowing. So it's a nice thing to kind of punch holes in and put it in your binder and take it with you to high school. That way when your teacher is teaching you some new information, and then they go back and be like, oh yeah, what's the square root of 144? You have it right there. Oh yeah, what's the Pythagorean theorem? You have it right there. Oh yeah, we're looking at similar figures. You have it right there. Irrational numbers. You have it right there. All right. So that way you kind of look smarter than everybody else in Math 1 too. Okay, that's all, and that is it. That is all I have for today. Tomorrow we will be doing a sampler test of 20 questions, I think most commonly seen on the EOG. And then we're tracking out, guys. We are at the end. If you have any questions, let me know. Hope you enjoyed the video.